Do you know your numbers? Do you track your numbers? Do you use some kind of measurement tool? In this video, I want to walk you through the importance of why measuring and tracking is so critical to your real estate business. Hey, this is Jason Bramlett with Real Estate Speed School. So one of the things that we go over and we train and we teach our agents, but just agents in general, is know thy numbers. And the reason being is if you don't measure, if you don't track your rate, your numbers, you don't really know what your conversion is. You don't know what your conversion is. You don't know how many people you need to speak with in order to obtain a certain outcome. And a lot of agents look at this as, if you're on a team like this, is punishment. And it actually is a tremendous benefit to help the team leader, the owner, the broker, whoever it is. It really helps us kind of see around corners as to know when somebody's getting off track. And it's not off, it could be off track to the company goal or the company's sales, but really it's keeping the agent on track, keeping you on track to make sure you're hitting your goals and your targets. And so knowing that bit of information is critical. We all have ups and downs in our sales career, but knowing these numbers, knowing what your measurables are, and knowing what your high value activities are is critical. And one of the, there's multiple different tools out there. There's some really, almost every CRM will do some type of tracking system for you. But the power is this: if you're in a cycle of, let's just say you make $120 a day, so you're reaching out to buyers, sellers, referral partners, whoever it is, and you always do $120 a day, and for whatever reason, if you were measuring that and tracking it, and it shifted, it could shift up, it could shift down. But if I know what my conversion ratio is, so let's just say I get 10 people on the phone for every 100 dials that I make, and of those 10 people, 2 of them end up working with me. So that's my conversion metric. Now, if something should change in the market and my conversion goes from 2 to 1, well, what does that tell me? I probably need to make 200 dials a day to get 20 people on the phone. So what? I can still hit my minimum of 2 people a month or whatever the case may be. But if I don't have that information, if I don't track that, if I don't log it, I'll never see the shift. I'll never see the change. And one of the things that is so true of our human condition is we always think we're doing more than we are. Anytime I get an agent that will commit to the tracking, usually the biggest aha that they have is, wow, I thought I made a lot more phone calls than that. It felt like I made more phone calls than that. In my mind, I believed that I made more phone calls than that. I mean, they were sweating to death, working hard, grinding, and they look up and they're like, wow, I only called 16 people. And my target was 120. It's just part of being human, folks. That's just all there is to it. We always think we're busier than we actually are, and that is an empowering thing about tracking your numbers and having some measurables. Sometimes it's just a simple thing of you omitted something, a key thing from your scripting, or you're leaving out bits and pieces of information that cause you a lot of extra time down the road. When you go to sell a home and you have a really specific listing presentation that lists out and explains exactly how you and your team interact with the consumer during the process. And if you, as the listing agent or one of your listing agents on your team, gets in a hurry and speeds through that, what we see on the back end is all of a sudden we see an uptick in questions from the consumer of things that we know that they should already know because it's in our presentation. And then when we go back and look at the measurables and track it, then we know what happened is what? That scripting, that messaging was left out. So knowing your numbers, having that plan, having that script, having all those things as a process is key. It's critical. A lot of it just saves you a tremendous amount of time down the road. And so, you know, the power of knowing this information, there's a compounding effect that's unbelievable. So I would encourage you, you know, maybe you don't need to start with $120 a day. Whatever it is, make a commitment to some number, and then just, you can do it on a simple Excel spreadsheet. Just track some of your numbers and some of your ratios. The other thing is, you know, sometimes we get lazy in our scripting. And the reason our conversion rate shifts is not because of the market, it's because we got in a rush. We sped up. We went too slow. Sometimes, you know, you just bored somebody to death and they're like, I just want to get off the phone. This person's not delivering anything of value here. But if you track those numbers, and then what happens is typically a red flag goes off. Something's changed in my conversion cycle, and that's when you can get with a coach and a mentor to help you. And they could just listen, you know, they can listen to a recorded call, they can sit down and role play it out with you, whatever tools you're using, but just having that help, and it gives you a place to start. And a lot of times what I see is agents got in a hurry, they omitted something normally, and that shifted their ratio. And so now they're having to do more to get the same result. And that's an easy thing we can fix, but the only way we can fix it is if you have your numbers. So I encourage you today, track those numbers. This is Jason Bramlett at Real Estate Speed School. If you like this page, subscribe, check us out. We're on every single social media channel out there. And until next time, make it a great day.